of the mind
How
pillar,
the
so
fuck
it's
are
10.
these?
Alright. We're gonna hop down to
Yeah.
not
RPG Haven.
Apex channel.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Alright, so what is this?
Discord is not connecting any input from your mic. There we go. So electromagnetic load storm. The
A lot of
plan
words.
is to use a Leah charge to give overload quality to an attack.
For you?
If for a martial arts attack.
Are you Leah capable?
My mech, the Executioner, is Leah capable.
But it's not ready yet. It's not initialized. It's not fully built. Not yet.
Okay.
Because remember, you were going to put it together yourself instead of having people do it.
We already went
Build
through
it
the
for-
building process and the bonding process, though.
You got all the armor plates and everything, and all the both the shoulder gun, the original shoulder guns, and the.
It's just that during that session, I got Ezekiel to fight me after I'd done the bonding process.
Okay.
So I was under the impression we got everything put together. But if you're not on the
You
same
didn't
page
pilot
as
it
that,
though. Why didn't you take it out for a test drive?
we didn't really have time because the next session, we dealt with the Dr. Ryder stuff, and then the Saboteur.
Okay.
But I picked my my nano thing for the Star Shield, right? And I chose the axe and I chose the engine. Put all the potentia into the nodes.
All right. Well, you probably did the nodes when you built the frame, or you put the frame back together. Do you have all the components of the mech done? Like completely, you have the whole thing built from top to bottom?
No, I don't.
Okay.
You already gave me the engine and the power core for it.
Yeah, because I came with it.
Just needed to replace the cockpit and then put some stars.
You have the HMS.
The armor. Had to put in the what's it called again?
Let's take a gander. Actually, let's take a peek.
Duralex.
Was this a huge frame?
Nope, it was a large.
You have a 4x4. Okay.
Yep, because of the engine, the reforging, rekindling.
Well,
sorry.
Well, you have on heavy frame X size 4x4. You're not 4x4. You're 3x3. Plus 10 to lock on, plus 10 to hit. So you're a heavy frame.
Let me.
Large one. Ponies. Whoa, what'd you do there under that? AVSA 80.
That was just me copy pasting what you had in your Excel sheet, Matt.
Yeah.
Put it table.
Yeah.
Yep. The heavy frame mecha, I didn't touch any of that. So the 4x4 is what you did. So. You told me there was no spirit in it, and I accepted that.
Well, it's only been piloted by one dude.
Yep.
Accept?
I accepted.
Mm. Okay, so that's the frame considerations from the mecha design thing. All right. Yeah, that's a thing that needs to be updated because everything needs to be updated. All right. Moving down. Spirit traits clickable, blah blah. Engine, nice 4x4. So that's 16. That means you have 9 extra CP. No. Yeah, it's a 9, 16. Sorry, it's a 7 extra CP you can throw um, into your mech, or you can run an alternative engine if you'd like, a sub engine, because the 4x4 is 16 CP. You put a 3x3 in there, which means that's only 9 of 16. So you can either convert that directly to internal CP, armor, or
Put
you can
into
throw another engine.
Yeah, put 2 more in, and then I can go from there. I can only get 1x1s, but still 1x1s are doable.
Well, you can get a 2x2. 2x2s are 4. You get 2 2x2s. No, 1 2x2, and then you can use the 3 extra for
Yeah, with a 4x4 that doesn't work. Unless I can make it like into an L shape. That would be really cool for some engines. Like there are different shapes. Instead of like a square, they're like an L or a
that. The game's already too complicated. It's just going to be a number system. It's actually how you configure the space. So if you want to design it into an L or into a box, you can. That's just up to your engineering capabilities.
Yeah, okay.
Jesus. Engine shaping. Brain hurt.
Yeah, for sure.
You got an engine component plus 2. Pretty nice. You got the power 700. Got the how much is that? It's a pretty rare engine.
Yeah, you gave it to me, so
Oh, it's you need it. You need the 40 energy. You do. Nice shields. That's 100. Well, there's where the Bauhaus bites you in the butt, because the Bauhaus is at 15 tons, which means it's 6 over the allotted space, which would then your engine, which is a 4x4, would be able to pay for. You would have 1 extra CP between the both.
So Matt, the question is, how did that fit in the thing itself beforehand?
Well, the power core and the engine would put right next together.
Okay, but there wasn't a 4x4 before; it was a 3x3.
Mm-hmm.
So my ask is, how did those two things fit in
They sacrificed
before?
armor for it.
Sacrificed armor for it. Okay, cool.
Yep,
Cool.
they
That's
gave up
good to
armor
know.
for it. They gave up a bunch of back armor and leg armor mostly.
Cool.
So, yeah, they gave up a bunch of leg and back armor for the ability to run those big engines. Because that's all it comes down for. If you can't fit the damn thing, just shave armor off. Every ton of armor you shave off, you get a flat number you can put wherever you want on your mech.
Yeah. Sounds good.
It's not pleasant, but I mean, you get something. All right, so scroll down, you get that nice Bauhaus. You got your old-fashioned analog. That's a bed. Got an endothermic exchange core. Boom. None of the internals are filled out.
No, I didn't know what would have put in there anyway. So
Yeah, mostly AMS and heat sinks. That's what it was. Your Leah's all filled out. If you want more recyclers, you could put those in there as well, or more core, or more canisters.
Hmm.
Jeez, you got a lot left. That's 8 more. You only have 1 liminal recycler. No, 2. Cool. Plasma great axe. I'm not done with the weapons, so I really can't help you on that because I gotta do. I'll probably do the melee weapons tomorrow, so I can get that all ready. But the plasma weapons are gonna have the plasma quality attached to them, which is they're gonna take damage um, while in use. They're gonna take durability damage every turn. But you were given a new component from uh,
yeah, Dr. Rogers.
Dr. Rogers calls the plasma envelope generator.
Nice.
Yep. It does cost 3 CP, does cost 6 power, produces 3 heat a turn. Weapons using the plasma quality no longer take damage each turn while active. Weapons using the plasma quality lose the unstable quality, which means you can parry with them and not have to worry about them being unstable upon impact.
Cool.
Plasma weapons will be granted the power field quality as well. So they're going to get a buff and a nerf, but you were given a component that removes most of the nerfs, so you only get the buffs. You can find the plasma envelope generator in the general components, in the internal component list off of the Excel sheet I just posted recently.
Yep.
It's a bit costly to run, but remember, it's a prototype. If you don't like it, you can always take it to research and get it improved. So it costs less, produces less heat, requires less power, doesn't weigh as much, does better stuff. That is one of the trade-offs. If you don't like something, take it into your own hands.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. A nice slag ignition. Got that purple laser. Yep. You haven't calculated your armor yet. Heavy mounted charge pack, control boosters, and pulse thrusters. I've updated the terminology on those. The control boosters.
Yep, that was just before you had that
Yep.
Excel sheet. So
You're probably only going to be able to run one of them because you're only going to need 2. They give you 5 movement.
Mm-hmm.
They cost you 3 tonnage, 1 power. They don't give you any thrust, but the pulse thrusters, they're 2 CP each.
So their CP went up by 1 then. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, they went up by 1, but they also give you a thrust vector as well now.
Cool.
They require 1 power and they produce 1 heat. Yeah, so external components, not the greatest. For you, I would recommend putting on a rocket thruster and a control booster, and then you're good to go. You don't need a pulse thruster. That's for really. Those are for fine-tuned movements.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, the pulse thrusters, they give you additional degrees of success when you dodge. But the rocket jets, those are the stuff that if you cleave into someone when you're doing a rocket charge, you get plus 10 to hit and plus 3 AD for melee weapons per rocket jet used. And rocket jets are kind of a big deal. They
Mhm.
give you 20 thrust in a turn, so you gotta move 20 units per rocket thruster equipped. That's a lot of inertia, but um, you can handle it. Your mecha can handle it. You get in there, you know.
That's an easy change. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
yeah. There's a lot of changes. That's why mecha construction is really difficult right now. And that's why probably no one's gonna be able to finish their mecha until I got this stupid sheet done. But I've only got 3 of the weapons. I got to do paint and symbology, which is we can actually go without that until a little bit later. Shield mods, I gotta finish that. But most of it's done, actually. Most of it is done. I just gotta get ballistic, missiles, and melee weapons finished up, tweaked up. Armor's done. Shields are done except for the mods. Frame's done. Engine's done. Power core's done. Cockpit needs a little tuning up because Liam has built 2 different cockpit types. I gotta add those in. External components are done technically, except for the cost and RAA. Internal components just need a cost. So about 80, 70% done.
Make progress, Matt.
There's good progress. And then once this is done, it only needs minor tweaks, and then you guys will be able to, go back to the Holy Grail. But a lot of the stuff on the sheets also have things that need to be explained, in which I will make a Word document for that, which is my next step after finishing the Excel document. So that if you have any questions about what this quality is, or what does it mean by this, or what you can and can't do, then how does damage work when it comes to dealing with internal components. There's going to be an explanation.
So Matt, for the martial art, we don't want to use a Leah. Is that not doable now?
If you want to use Aaliyah, you have a machine that does Leah, but you yourself have no Leah experience. You'd be
Besides
relying
IQ.
on your. So that's Archeo. Um, but it's actually an internal thing. Are you Leah capable as a pilot? Is that a nano upgrade that you're going to want to build?
Okay.
Because your mech executioner, absolutely, is Leah capable. But for all of your Leah needs, you're going to be leaning heavily on that mech through your bond. And it's going to put a lot of stress on you. So you're not Leah capable currently, so you can use it, but you may be using a lot of your power from the executioner, put a lot of stress on your body, or inversely, you are Leah capable, and you can boost the executioner's Leah ability because you both are Leah users.
Mhm.
It's Leah's not forgiving. That's why it's wildly erratically powerful. There's always a massive cost, and there's a lot of lore costs as well, such as the lore behind the Leah recyclers. Minimum 1 to
Yeah.
prevent phazon buildup. Beyond that, you still get ambient charge, depending on how much Leah you use consistently. The recommendation.
Well, how about
Okay.
this, Matt? Let's get rid of Leah entirely for this martial art and use the a magnet charge instead.
Magnetism and electromagnetism, you are well, magnetism particularly, but you can get easily into electromagnetism.
Yeah, that's the whole point of this martial art, pretty much.
You don't need Leah for that. That Leah will jank this up. It's not from this dimension.
All right. So let's put it as it requires a magnet charge from the martial arts. So I have up to willpower bonus and magnet charges. So we'll use one of those to apply overload. What would you like that negative to be? Because it actually requires one of my currencies to use.
Well, how much overload are we talking? Because overloads every that's a
Yeah, it depends on
granting
how you
overload.
want to do it. We could do it degrees of success. We could do it like we did the range thing for more stamina usage.
No,
Like,
it'll be pretty simple because you of course are going to upgrade it later, correct?
I just got to spend merit into it. That's usually how.
Yeah. So base thing is for every magnet charge you get one extra overload. If you
All
use
right,
one, you
so
get
it's one for
overload
one.
1.
Okay, sounds good. So what would that cost then for the overload? Would that be a 20-point
You will
purchase?
also take 1 damage.
Okay, that's fine. Straight, direct.
Uh, it'll be resolved by toughness first.
Right.
So you could, but if you do a huge
Yeah,
magnet
all
pull,
all depends on how much you put into it, right? So I got you. I
right?
got you.
Basically you are EMPing yourself.
Right.
But that's why you get the toughness resilience because you're EMP resistant.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it would just be 1 straight damage and it would kill off a nano cluster every time you use it. But you built
Okay.
up EMP resistance, so you get your toughness bonus to resist it.
Okay.
So if you use, I don't know,
5
what's your
charges, for
toughness?
example.
5, yeah, 5.
I have 12 is my bonus for toughness.
Oh, then you can use up to 12 charges.
Okay. The issue is I
But
don't have
if
very
you,
many magnet charges. Is the question? Is the issue for me right now?
yeah.
But okay.
So
But
basically, what you'll upgrade it to be, so every time you get you use a single magnet charge, that produces X overload, and that's where you're going to get it. So that once you build it up to there,
sure. So how much would that positive to get that overload in the first place cost? Like how many
it's
points do they want to make that?
to upgrade
No,
the.
just to get it in the first place, because this has to represent like for the positives and the negatives for the talent, right? For
Mhm.
martial arts, I'd say to add overload to an attack would be at least it's like shield pen.
Mhm.
So it would be around 10 to 20 points.
Let's say 20 points. Yeah.
Okay, and the requires a magnet. How many points is that? I would
Uh,
say 5 to 10 points. I'd say 10 points for at least. This will
mm,
determine how much stamina this is going to cost for me.
right. So it at first it's going to cost you 5, and then it also deals 1 damage to you, which costs you 5, even though you don't take damage because of the
Yeah,
EMP. So
yeah,
that's 10 total. So it's 10 points.
sounds good. Got 2 stamina worth then. We'll complete the electromagnetic load storm.
Mhm.
10. There's charge. All right, the next one is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
This one I'm a little proud of, I suppose. So it's called Dynamo, and pretty much what it does is it gives range to a martial art. Um, it can only give range to the attack that's actually in the martial art itself. So, for example, I'm getting 3 attacks. I'm purchasing 3 attacks for this martial arts, and I can only use those within the range increase. But what the deal is that you attach it to one of your already martial art techniques you have. So, for example, I had my first one being chop. So I can give my chop range, and it gives all the bonuses like the damage, whatever it does for chop, but it also gives you all the negatives attached as well. So the action economy attached that's extra from not even using the complex action in the first place. So use the action, and then I have to add extra stuff. So the positives of a technique and then the negatives of a technique are added into that. And one of the other things it has is that you can't, if you don't pass the first test, you can't do the second one. If you don't pass the second test, you can't do the third one. There's a lot of things at once. Where did these all come from? Alley Girl just been posting memes.
Me too.
Let me just copy paste it to you for right now. This is a Swift. So this. So it's gonna cost like 10 stamina, and the extra attacks is 50 stamina worth. Uses an axe style technique. I'd assume that would be I don't know, uh, maybe like 50 points. Go to bed, Alley Girl. I won't be far behind. We need to add in that extra, every point of range is an extra stamina. And I figured the negative to the technique would cancel out the positive for the techniques. So it's 50 to get just the positives of an axe style technique. It's 50 also to get the negatives attached.
How much range are we talking?
Like you said before, you'd have to add every unit is stamina, but at the same time, I don't have a lot of stamina. So if I use this technique at its base right now, it's like my whole pool, and I'll have to recharge.
Oh, well, you should get more stamina.
Yeah, trying to work on it. Get there someday.
Okay.
But yeah, at first I thought degrees of success would be interesting, but you don't really. It's like random. But doing it by stamina is probably the best way to do it. But it's also one of the most expensive ways because each stamina increase is like 5 points worth. So it's
Yes.
almost like every unit is 5 points.
Yes.
Yes. CC Nigro. And that is my second swiftness talent. Next purchase, Matt.
Oh, we got a few here now, don't we?
We do. Braid level 2, certain death technique.
Ooh.
So the first one gave us like if you do the nano like you put your nano into the mech, then you can use the certain death technique within the mech. Second level, we could either I don't really know if certain death technique already has an escapable attached into it, but
Yes.
okay, that's what I thought. So I don't know what the second level would be for certain death technique. Because it's already pretty powerful, but that's what happens when you get a double one on it.
Yeah, it becomes unavoidable.
Okay. So they need to use a fate point in order to dodge.
Be allowed to dodge, yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good to me. That's pretty simple.
Downside, you need to declare using the unavoidable.
That it's an unavoidable? Okay.
All right. Yes.
So it's an active ability. Sounds good to me.
Right.
Swiftness intrinsic, I figured a half action would be pretty simple to pick up.
There's a downside to the unavoidable thing.
Right.
When you declare it,
yes,
it builds a charge.
Okay.
Builds 1 fatigue. That's all it does.
Okay.
You fatigue yourself as the pilot. You have a lot of fatigue in which you can stomach through.
Unfortunately, I've built that for myself. 75 threshold is my current threshold.
Yeah, so you can use the unavoidable technique 75 times.
Yep. I also have a lot of other things that cause fatigue, like for magnitude damage, 2d20.
But what if this is in your mech? You go to axe chop someone, and you're like unavoidable, and he's like, I don't have a fucking fate point.
What fatigue? Okay.
Yes. Normally, I'd have you roll 1d something.
Right.
But you're not human. And you're already fatigue resistant. You're made of nano. So it's... What?
Right. Okay. I will add that now. That's pretty simple. Where am I going to put you, though? This is in New Gen. Oop. What do you think about the intrinsic purchases?
What about them?
These are my first intrinsics I'm picking up for them. They're 5 points each.
Did you post it somewhere?
I posted in the purchases. It's just right above the music thing he sent. In your chat. He asked me to send it to you on Saturday, so.
The music thing?
Yeah.
Music thing!
The Wicked North.
Go Burr.
Just have a pace for you again, Matt.
And jeez. Well, it's on the list, isn't it?
It is on the list. It was just right underneath the braid. Yep.
Yeah,
you just said you were having trouble finding it.
Well, yeah. It's just, if it's on the list of things you just get, there you go.
No. Sorry. I thought you were talking about the list I sent you.
No, like the preset list we built together.
Those were all selects, Matt. None of them were. None of them were intrinsics. So I figured a half action would make sense.
It'd be
Okay.
might select.
For a half action?
Because swiftness select will get you another movement or reaction.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just trying to keep with the theme.
So movements are half actions or full actions, remember, though, right? If I have the action economy
if you want to
for
build
it-
it that way, yeah.
Yeah, if I have the action economy for it, it would talk. You could say I only have a half action used for movement. That's something you could put in there if you'd wish.
That's a tough one.
Because you know what I mean, though, right? Because the action economy is universal, right? It's all about what it costs.
Yeah, let's make it so that it's half action for movement,
Sure, sounds
and
good.
then you can upgrade it with select.
Second one, it's an intrinsic. I figured internal analysis seemed might based. It's something. I don't know what we would do for internal analysis. I'm just kind
What
of
are you
build
looking
off of internal awareness. That's pretty much what I was doing.
Oh.
Either things I could, for example, things I grey goo or things I eat. I could get information off those things, or maybe have a better internal awareness, like we were talking about before, just of ways to figure out if something's wrong, or get more information from internal awareness, or yeah, I'm not sure. I don't really have too much of a.
You can roll scrutiny for things you eat.
Okay, sounds good.
Or goo, or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anything that is within my body, I can roll scrutiny on to determine what are you. Sounds good. Now for my biggie, the one I've been saving up for a long time for. Jack of all pillars.
Okay.
It takes up my conflicts plot, and I hit all the pillars at the exact same time. 5 merit.
Okay. It's just like the Wednesday game all over again. You monster.
Well, I knew the secret technique, so I thought I'd go for it.
So what's the point of the ability? What does it do?
The conflicts, it's selecting the pillars. So the pillar rewards.
Yeah. Oh,
So
you're going
it would
after
be
the pillar rewards.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's what I was trying to confirm.
Get from
You're
my-
going
get from
after
me?
the pillar rewards.
Yeah. I just didn't know what else you would get from the pillars. It's kind of my thought process on that. I don't know where else I could get. Maybe I could add something new, or
You can reduce the threshold requirements.
oh yeah, I suppose you
lower
could do
down how much it costs to get to them.
that. Yeah, no, for sure. That makes sense.
If you'd like to do that instead.
No. I just like to go for the. Would it affect all of them or just one?
Well, you did a complex. You would lower all of them.
Like every threshold, I mean.
Every threshold, they would be easier to get to. And every time you leveled up the complex, they would reduce and how many points it takes to get there. Yeah. It's one of the ways you are actually going to be able to get through the thresholds faster, and you'll notice that the biggest merit dumps that you're going to get in this game are actually through Nemesis.
Yeah. I'm cool with that, Matt. We can do Jack of all pillars for reducing the cost. Can I change it for the next conflicts level, or does it have to be
It needs to be within the theme, as long as it's
affecting the pillars?
As long as it targets the pillars, you can change it each level, but you can't go outside that.
Yeah. I didn't expect to. I was always going to affect the pillars, but it just it makes me think, because it's a good thought, because I never expected to get. I expected to get maybe to level 3 for the pillars.
You can get up to 5 if you really go hard on Jack of all pillars.
Mm-hmm.
because that Jack of all pillars then pays back into itself.
Yeah.
Towards the pillars. It's easier to
Yeah,
reach the thresholds.
yeah. Let's do that. It saves you time from having to go through these. I figured like what you'd have
Well,
me
we
do
got to go
is
through them anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna get a minor improvement to each of the pillars.
Okay. So let's do that for our level 1 conflicts. What reduces by 10 points
25.
for each, 25 for each. How about 20? No, 25, 25. Going once, going twice.
25 for each pillar.
I'll take it.
For each level.
Yep.
Because it goes up and up and up and up and up. So I mean, you still have to spend a huge buttload to even get to the second one. We'll go to dinner, Char.
He just took some time off. You know, he can't handle Apex too much.
Hurts his brain.
I don't know. Something, idiot people, something.
Completely fair. Just wait a sec, Matt. I think that actually screws me if I have 25. My purchases so far, I could just remove one of my purchases I've done, and that's probably it. But I know I need to hit the thresholds at the exact same time.
Do you?
I figured that's how it would be done.
Jack of all pillars doesn't require you to hit all the pillars at the same time. You can hit them in waves or individually. Unless you build the complex around having to hit the pillar at all 4 times.
I did, and that's the whole point of it. It removes the ability to jump ahead, which is what I was kind of going for with the. It's like the whole aspect of the whole aspect of planning goes away if I don't do that.
You can egregiously overspend. So if you go over the next threshold for mine, you just don't get the threshold until all the others are ready.
Okay. That's fair. I'm gonna hit them all at the same time anyway for this next one. But that gives me more peace of mind, so I don't have to worry about any other things. Reduces by 25 each pillar. 25 reduces the threshold by 25 for each pillar. Perfect. And Matt, in my character sheet, I have pillars in the bottom of my special abilities. So this is where I'm keeping everything for that. Excellent. Minds increases the main characteristics of the mind pillar by 3. I'll do that shortly. Earn a fate point. I'll do that shortly. Earn a new skill, talent, or ability that utilizes one of the 4 characteristics in its core stat. I'm thinking toughness, ability, and flow. Our initial thought was, I imagine it's not going to be the same as when we did Johnny for flow. I figured it would be like if Jackie gets below a certain like wounds. So, for example, if Jackie gets
this is not happening. Legendary quality.
It's very close to that. Like, for example, if I get under half, certain things happen. If I go below, it could be stats. It could be like you have a bonus to perception and agility, or it could be better action economy, or it could be really anything, I suppose, that goes with the concept of flow. and it's like a synchronization of mind and the mind reacting and the body going on autopilot pretty much for just muscle memory, working in synchronization. Those two things. But I figured since like flow for Jackie
This is all tier
pain.
1 thresholds.
This is tier 1 threshold, yeah.
Okay.
It does,
These
I mean,
are not
this
powerful abilities, by the way.
for sure. So I have the base concept, Matt. You put it down into a bite-sized piece for tier 1.
All right, so let's go through might. You got your upgrade. You got your fate point. Jeez, you got 4 fate points out of this. This is silly.
I was thinking a rage talent, Wrath of Nature is what I would call it.
For might?
Yeah, straight talent, Wrath of Nature.
What does that do?
Pretty much gives me frenzy, but it's cultivation based instead, or like a martial arts talent.
That's
If it's too OP
strange.
or too much, that's fair.
You
I was
said
thinking-
it's a cultivation frenzy?
Just like a I just thought it was like rage, honestly. It's just a way, instead of picking up the talent frenzy, it's something base for Jackie instead of just the base talent. Which is why I was putting like the nature in there, or the wood aspect.
What's mechanically different about it?
Mechanically different would be I don't have to take the full turn to go into the rage.
Yeah, instant rage is fine. Yeah.
It doesn't have the same action. So for example, I don't do the snap out of it, the same thing. I have like a certain amount of time that it lasts for, whether it be a turn, and then after that, you gain fatigue.
Okay. Well, you still get the negatives of the.
Sure. We can do that.
You get
for
the
frenzy.
negatives
Yep.
of the frenzy,
Mhm.
but you can designate how long you want to be in the frenzy.
Okay,
IQ can also break you out of it
sounds good.
using an adrenal lock. Basically, she stops feeding the machine.
Right.
So using it for every turn you designate, you get a fatigue.
Okay.
And even if she pulls you out of it, you still get the fatigue determined how many turns you had originally designated.
That sounds good to me, Matt.
Yeah, because she basically fucks up your chemistry, and it's just like, oh gosh, I'm sane, but ouch.
So shall we do this as a free action or reaction or
Bonus?
Bonus sounds good. Excellent.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to swiftness. Scrolling down.
So for swiftness, I was having some. I was trying to figure something out. A few things came to mind. One could be an agility ability that was surge, like the action economy boost for the fighter.
Ooh, big no for you.
You're
You're already pushing max.
I know. That's why I said it was my first thought, and then I was like, it's not actually there. One other thought was like a perception talent, which was energy flow, or an intelligence talent, which was synchronization, or yeah, those are my. Oh, my last option was a perception talent that it's like inverse awareness. That's pretty much what the idea was. If you have an say Jackie walks into the room and all our cameras kind of pick everything up. Inverse awareness is when there is something in the room that has like a blank space. Like, for example,
Like a negative on a photo.
yeah, I know everything about the items I see. I just, for knowledge, it's like in my memory bank, I kind of pick what those things are. But there's this one rock over to the side that doesn't pick up. It's like question mark. It's like you.
It's
Why
a lot.
are you
It's
here?
gonna be a lot of things because you are isolated on Ares. Sure, you have seen a lot of things, but you're also young. You haven't done any space traveling other than the one
That's
jump point.
completely fair. And as I learn new things and these things pick up, I can broaden my horizons for knowledge. But I figured that would be a cool one to do.
It's something you need to declare that's on.
Okay,
I won't
sure.
have
Would you want to
any-
make that an ability instead of a talent then?
Yeah, it'd be an ability.
Okay.
You would need to declare that it is currently active. It doesn't cost you anything to run it. It just makes you see the world differently. So the information you're going to get is vastly different depending on which mode you're on. You may, in this mode, overlook things that are completely mundane because you're purposely looking for things that you haven't seen before, which could end up putting you in trouble.
Right.
Because you're like, I'm looking for the unknown. And there's a dude with a gun, and you know everything about the dude and the gun and the armor he's wearing, so you're like, it's just a dude with a gun. And then he shoots you, and you're like,
ow.
Did you just shoot me? You're not dead. This is a Gauss rifle. Gauss rifle are for children. Get on my level.
Yeah, try
slap.
ship weapons.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
It puts you in a really hyper foci mentality. Like,
Yeah, I kind of just like, yeah, it's a cool thought. And I figured I'd go with it. So
I'm gonna call it. Well, it has to be swiftness related because you got to analyze things quickly. So
perception ability. I thought inverse awareness was pretty good, but inverse.
inverse awareness is fine.
If you like, it could actually be a skill instead.
No, you don't need it.
Yeah,
Actually,
I figured.
You know what? I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's make it inverse awareness, and then it's a rollable.
Yeah.
All right.
Just based off perception.
Good recommendation. Me gusta mucho. It also gives you
Mucho.
the chance to upgrade it.
Yeah.
With basic merit. Okay, so scrolling down. See, Char, this is what happens. This is what happens when we play this game. Johnny, he's in the know. He has the secret OP strats, the meta strats for a new threat. You should like buy him dinner or something, and then have him like explain the OP super secret strats to torment the GM and juice your character to the juiciest level.
See, this is why Cody is sweet and innocent.
I see what you're doing. Okay, bud. All right.
Don't worry, I will at some point buy a talent.
That hurts me on
Or-
the inside.
No. It'll be either a talent or a braid that is just called sweet and innocent.
It's like me and my snowflake conflicts I built.
Oh, we're on mind.
Correct. Toughness, ability, flow, activatable. Actually, no, it's pretty much a passive activatable because it has to meet a certain requirement in order to activate in the first place. And if you want to have it at base, I think the best way to do it is at half health. Something activates.
Get an extra reaction.
Get an extra reaction. Okay.
Per turn. And then, of course, you can completely elaborate on it and upgrade it with all sorts of different cool, nifty things. Add more reactions.
Yeah, maybe instead of just at 50%, it's also at 75 or 25%.
Or you can add different tiers to it.
Yeah, for example, so our first thought was like once you hit 75, something activates. Once you hit 25, it gets
Too
hit better.
complicated
Yeah,
purchase.
I figured. I figured as much, but that was our just initial thought from it. So
Mhm.
half health, easy
You can
peasy.
also make it so that since it is an improved, or if
Mhm.
you did, make it there, if you ever reach max fatigue, you also get an extra reaction. So
Max
once you
fatigue.
reach your
Oh boy.
yes, once you reach 75 fatigue, you get an extra reaction because everything beyond that's hell.
Hell
It's
to
bad.
deal with. Yep. Then I just
You'll
need to
long
make.
pass out before you uh, can handle negative 750.
Yeah. I'll have to get like a make my recovery technique a reaction, so I can just be like, all right, I use a recovery technique or remove fatigue. We're good. Um. Okay. Perfect. So the next one is spirits,
Mm.
and I figured a good one for it would be dual cultivation.
Okay.
Influence, talent, dual cultivation.
What does it do?
Few thoughts. OP version would definitely be being able to cultivate two things at the exact same time. So, for
That
example,
sounds pretty OP.
that's what I said. That's what I'm saying. Simple technique would be the same thing you gave Nyx, which is every time you gain a internal potential, you also gain an external potential.
Nah. No, you got 2 Grandmasters.
True, I do.
If you decide to cultivate dual technique,
Mm-hmm.
here's a caveat. You can decide to cultivate the dual technique, but it has to be something that both embodies the servant's dilemma
And the
and the
nano.
nano maiden.
Yep.
It's the nano maiden. That's what we're gonna call it.
Nano maiden. Okay, sounds good.
Mhm.
I like it.
Yeah. So it literally has to embody both, and that's gonna be really tricky
I
to
know,
find something that both are in perfect synchronicity. But you can
but
also go to your masters and be like,
what works?
I want to bring in the next
Yeah.
level.
What I do know that at least from playing so far is that both of the techniques are body tempering techniques, pretty much. Both of them affect the body. So as long as I can work with that,
Two
I think
different
I should.
categories.
Two different categories of body
Yes,
tempering.
actually,
Yeah.
they're of the same genre.
Yeah.
The body tempering, one or the body, basically the focus of the physical form, not the
Yes.
mind or the spirit.
Correct.
They focus on the body. One is a body tempering technique. One is a body modification technique.
Right. One's affecting the actual body, the organs, everything. One is improving those organs, or
Yes.
yeah.
Massive difference, and that's
One's fire, one's metal.
yes, and those don't play well with each other. I'll give you the OP version. You just gotta find a technique or make your own, actually, that supports both, and then you can cultivate two at the same time. And if you find a technique that you make it yourself, that's of both, you'll get 2 for the price of 1 in that same tree. But it's going to be a lot of groundwork. You're going to do a lot of studying. You're going to be doing a lot of figuring it out. But because of that, you're also going to gain a lot of insight. You're going to gain a lot of knowledge about the inside workings and the design philosophies and why they built it the way they did. And hell, if you really look into their techniques, trying to find something that you can cultivate, you might just pick up a hell of a lot of other stuff along the way.
Mm-hmm.
You're just being a diligent student, almost trying to build your own school at this point. You're taking 2 of the most overpowered schools of cultivation, and you're trying to make one, which is technically your own DAO.
Duality is the concept, the path. magnetism is one of the big things. I'm trying to work with it, but I'll get there.
Yeah, you got fire and metal, and if you got enough of that in the right frequencies, you got a magnetism.
Yep.
And then you got your earth or / wood element, which is your wood element.
Yep. In the middle.
It's going to be very interesting because you got a lot of things to contend with because wood and metal, they don't really get along. Fire and
They're
metal
opposites.
certainly don't get along, and fire and wood also don't get along.
Mhm.
So you may be looking at one of the most powerful immolation techniques around, but most people would just die the moment they try and even they're trying to scratch the spark to get the spark going. The moment they get a single spark, they just melt because of
Yeah.
all the opposition elements which you put yourself into. But it also makes you more resilient because all your elements are in opposition, so they're always tempering each other, but you have to survive the tempering. But you also get no synchronicity. But that's also a bonus from what you've learned. If you have too much synchronicity, you gain stacking uncontrollable power and your body can't handle it, which also limits the threshold of how much potential you can house in your body if there's too much synchronicity. If everything's in desync, you get the minimum base values every single time. Everything's stable because it's always fighting each other, so you don't have a cap growth for potentia.
And I figured it would be if they're fighting against each other, that means they're improving each other. So
not necessarily. They won't synchronize, and you've realized that from the research that Luna has shown you.
Mhm.
Too much synchronicity in any design makes the device or whatever you imbued them with unstable, and people are no different. So if you have a fighter who is developed in extra attacks, extra speed, extra hits, massive upgrades to art of killing, and if he's all just punch, kill, maim, all of those are in synchronicity under the umbrella of violence, harm, and killing.
Mhm.
And those all fall under the same umbrella, and they all juice each other in synchronicity. So the more you invest, the more the other ones grow, and then you eventually gain way too much for even a single potentia use, but you're capped out at 100.
Yep. But on
But
the
you're
plus
basically
side,
a 350, potentia user, but you're capped at 100, and you can't go any higher because your body can't handle it.
and that's why I picked up elemental fusion with the double potency.
Right.
So even if I'm getting minimal, I'm still getting double min.
It makes it so that certain elements literally haven't eaten each other yet.
Yep.
Which is tough. But since you have pure desynchronicity throughout your entire body, there's no limit to your cultivation growth. You just get minimal values, and there's no synchronicity bonuses. But because everything's like, no, fuck you, and no, fuck you, they basically, you don't grow as fast as other cultivators, but there's no cap because everything's stable.
Excellent. So that is those bad boys. So Matt, my next two purchases. And it's just those two after, because I don't want to break your noggin with the thing I could do. I could reach the next threshold for all the pillars with this new improvement, but that would be mean. I wouldn't want to do that to you, Matt.
I'm here. I'm in the vibe. If that is what you want to do it.
All right.
Or not.
Yep, I'm doing it. You asked, and you shall receive. All pillars, level 2. 40. Level 2 as well.
Ooga booga Skywalker cake. That's funny.
So for my next purchase is I am improving the conflicts for IQ. The first one gave her a fate point and just generally improved her.
Okay.
One thing I was thinking I could give the qualities, or at least one of the qualities I have per level is one option.
No, it's gonna be simple.
Okay.
IQ can tap into the the established link as long as you develop IQ with internal potentia.
Okay.
She can also establish a link to your mechs and use their processing power and their targeting systems.
Okay. Okay.
She can use the brains of the mech while you use the brawn.
Okay. Okay. So how does that work for Potentia?
Depending on how much potentia you have in the mech,
Yeah.
each mech, you need an equivalent amount of external potentia developed or imbued into IQ. So if your Timberwolf has 35 potentia, she needs 35 external potentia.
Okay.
And that's
Okay.
for collectively all your mechs.
The one thing I'm lacking is a Leah ring for her black potentia.
That's not hard to get. Just go to Lilith.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I will put down time
have the
actions
hookup.
for that. Yeah.
You have the hookup.
Okay. Perfect.
For
But
that
yeah,
one
yeah,
full
that works.
experience.
I was thinking of like double the amount in the mechs, but if we just want to do matching for IQ, sounds good to me.
Right.
And that makes
So
things
she'll
easy.
get parallel processing ability if you have AIs or
Mhm.
other intelligence, or better yet, if you put quantum computers in any of your mechs.
Right.
She'll be able to, like, if the mech,
Utilize that,
like the
yeah.
Timberwolf, if you install a tier 4 quantum computer in the Timberwolf at range, you know how the quantum computers can be assigned a project
Right.
and
She
work
can then
on
work
stuff.
from that. Yeah, she can just
She
like
can
pop
literally
over.
say, "Hey, Timberwolf, I'm gonna have you work on this
Uh-huh.
while you're just literally sitting in your mech bay."
Right.
You can also have the Timberwolf be running through, Sims, or you can have it, she can connect remotely to them and access their computer systems where you
Right.
get you get the brawn of the mech,
Yeah.
the armor plating, and the strength bonus from
And she's the other half.
the machines.
Other flip.
She's the other half.
Good stuff.
She's your
Okay, that's awesome. I can work
that'll
from that.
also be that's also the next development for your internal mech, because the internal mech, you don't get components.
Okay.
Whatever's inside of your body
Or is what I can use.
are
For
the
example, my
components.
power core, for example, I use that to
Yes.
power my mech, my inner mech. Yeah.
And that's why it needs to be so much bigger, and that's why Lilith specifically takes external parts and imbues them in her body, like that, like that core.
I plan to do something similar, just like deconstructing and then reconstructing with internally. So I'll get there.
The best part is you don't need to have a set configuration on your internals. Like,
Right.
lungs don't have to be here.
As long as
Hell,
I have
you
the
don't
space.
even need lungs.
Yeah.
You don't even have lungs, really. You don't need them. You don't need to breathe. You run off electricity. So, however you want to configure your internals, you could fit a hell of a lot of stuff in there.
And I also have the dimensional storage aspect too. So it's pretty much you just have.
The more bulky and clunky the stuff in your internals, the less flexible you're going to be.
Yeah.
Because you got a lot of stuff that you don't want crunched against each other.
Yes, for sure. Alrighty. Excellent. My second one was of the positive quality magnet for conflicts level 2. Special technique exile equal to willpower bonus. Apply push or pull to a technique was the first conflicts improvement. He gave me the martial arts special technique that I could apply to my other techniques, which is pretty cool.
You
Complex
want your
level.
tier 2.
And I want my tier 2. Simple would be more. It's also equal to my influence bonus as well, or it could
What
be.
calculates your magnet points?
There's two things. From the conflux, it gave me the willpower bonus for martial arts stuff. Influence bonus is what has the actual magnet ability rolls, which give the increase bang for buck.
Okay, so you can pick more bang for buck, or you can pick more magnet charges for this conflux, in addition to the upgrade.
Okay. This is hard because both of them are really good. But
You'll get to pick one or the other each time you upgrade it.
Yeah.
Which do you think will be more important to you in the short term versus the long term?
Because the short term is what's going to matter.
Yeah.
The short term is going to matter in the immediate up until the big fight, and the long term you can build.
Oh,
towards.
even in the big fight, he's going to be using this.
Yeah. And I just don't know if I'm going to hit the big fight with, like, I don't know if I'll hit another conflict level before I get the big fight, and that's my
Probably
thought.
not. You're hitting 2 in the same session.
Yeah.
On all pillars, so that's 8 upgrades to your character.
Yeah.
That.
Oh, great! This is you need to get together with Jack or Johnny. He knows the strats, man. He's played enough games. In the Wednesday game when I played with Farrak, he figured it out.
What do you mean? I'm doing exactly what Jackie told me to do way back in at the beginning, which is to wait until you have a big pile of merit and drop it on a pile of confluxes to proc several pillars at once, which is exactly what I did. I procced 5 pillar upgrades in one drop.
You stop that.
We're actually going to pick the push and pull out of influence bonus. That's what we'll do.
Okay. You can add the bonus again.
Okay, I love it. Because my current influence bonus is 8, so I'm adding another 8. Booyah.
And that's from an unnatural influence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 8. Good amount. All right, main ability.
Okay, now I actually have to go back to fucking pillars.
No. That's not just double the charges. You get an ability because it's level 2 in addition to the double charges.
Oh.
Electromagnetism is going to be yours.
Okay.
You can choose to link with a machine and communicate. You need to be in a machine of equal size, or tonnage, or computational power, or be a machine of computational power. But if you take, you can take at least a full minute to establish a connection to your electromagnetism. If it doesn't work, you can spend another minute and retry. So you can literally just hours and hours, just unlimited rerolls. But you gotta concentrate. Your concentration cannot be broken.
Right, it's a focus action. Okay.
The machine doesn't have to be aware.
Right.
But you can also, through electromagnetism, share experiences and potentially add an awareness to the machine. Wake it up.
This would allow you to do the level of shit that Nyx is able to do with his shamanic spirit. How he's able to just communicate with any mech he knows at whatever distance so far. This would let you do that with a similar standing, it sounds like.
The next level will allow you to do electromagnetism awakening, which will allow you to grab a machine that has no sentience or spirit, and through effort and time, you can wake it up and give it a sentience and a spirit.
So what I'm hearing then is it has to have a sentience or spirit in order for me to establish the connection in the first place.
At level 1.
No. At this level, no. You can talk to a machine that has no spirit, but you're going to get a machine response.
Gotcha.
If it has an intelligence, it's going to be an easier conversation. If it has a spirit, it's going to be talking to a person.
Right. Excellent. Love it.
But this allows you to do that, even if you're at dead comms.
Mm-hmm.
So like, comms blackout and you can't communicate because the enemy's there and they can hear radio traffic. You can send your spirit and meander. It'll take a while, especially in space, but you can set up a communication connection, or you can literally touch a mech with your mecha arm and go for a minute, and then you're communicating with the machine, not the pilot.
This could also allow you to mechs in space with dead pilots. You could swing by and touch them as they're floating, link up with them, and give them orders as though you were the pilot, causing them to do shit.
Yes, you could.
And have destroyed mechs firing their weapons.
Yes, you could. It also allows you to ask machines, "How are you?" and they will send you diagnostic data.
Yeah.
Status report.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, and don't think you can't do that in space as well, or Ogre. If you float around with your shamanic spirit and you can't put these guys back together because the next wave is coming, you can go, "Guys, I know your pilot's down. Link with me. I will be your captain." And you give them telemetry data. They'll probably miss. But that one guy who's like, "Missile pods firing," and then he hits a whole SRM barrage as somebody goes by and just laser beams this dude, and he's like, "So that you just SRM me? Motherfucker!" He's like, "Fuck you."
Yep.
I can't reload, boss. My autoloader's broken.
That is something that I was actually thinking of doing
You
for
should
my
get an upgrade.
ability.
Called Shepherd of the Fallen.
That's kind of what I was thinking of doing. Finish off Jackie, and then I'll go with that with you.
All right, cool. All right, that's level 2 magnet. Because it's level 2 conflux. You got an upgrade for your charges.
Mm-hmm. Which is awesome.
But each level of the conflux is it's a little bit more than just a base charge system.
You're putting more merit into it. It makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's still not going to be on the same comparison level as the Wednesday game, because that was, whoo, baby. I think we almost got a level 10. Did we get to a level 10 conflux in that game?
I pretty much had a level 10 conflux with the freaking the Nexus. So
no. Did any individual conflux ever reach level 10?
I'm just trying to.
I think there was a level 9. I think there was a 9, but none of them got to 10 because the Nexus never got to a 10.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, we're never doing that type of game again.
I know, Matt. You've said multiple times. I got it.
I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling bullshit because Jackie, my friend, Blatt has repeatedly told me I need to build one more conflux and then I can build a Nexus for them.
Oh, Nexus is fine. I'm talking about the amount of merit that game had.
Gotcha. Fair.
The near 10,000 merit game? No.
I completed 2 tier 3s for Nemesis.
Yeah, that was we're not doing a 10,000 merit game.
Yeah, a multi-grand merit game.
Yeah, no, it's just 10 big ones. That was in addition to all the other powers you built yourself and gained through ones and play and loot and shit, and that was ludicrous, but it was fun. I had fun. Had fun.
I mean, we're almost at 1K merit this game.
That's good. You're never gonna reach 10.
I didn't
You
expect
guys,
to.
if you guys were on track, you guys would be around 3K merit.
I mean, feasibly, with the amount of bonuses and stuff we've gotten from training and Potentia, I personally believe we're probably closer to 3K merit.
Yeah, that's the thing. You get to choose how much you want to juice your character or
Mm-hmm.
envelop yourself in society. Like that was my big thing. I wanted to have it be an XP system, but do you focus on yourself, or do you focus on your projects, or do you focus on relationships?
Yep. No, the only thing that I feel regretful of is
Now.
that
Now,
half the party I cannot juice with Chemtech. I cannot augment our Brobot and Nanite bot.
you can upgrade every single one of these fuckers with Chemtech. What are you talking about?
I can create a Chemtech formula for the robot.
You can do it for
Hell,
Jackie.
yes, you can. Absolutely, you fucking can. For everyone. And in multiple
Okay.
fashions. Let me school you right
Okay.
now, my friend.
Okay. Sorry for the tangent, Jackie.
Okay, first off, let's start with Luna, robot bitch.
Mhm.
Absolutely, her brain, the animatronic brain, they're semi-wetware. It's a synthetic brain, but it's modeled after the original brain, and they have a conductive fluid that allows electronic conductivity in the brain. It's their only weakness, really, and it requires a dynamium chip to handle and balance everything. You can Chemtech dope their synthetic brains. It's dangerous. Absolutely fucking dangerous. But you can. Or they're an animatronic body. You can give them Chemtech vials and doses to go along with their nano foundry. Like, their whole body is this twisting, contorting entity within a skin suit. The amount of Chemtech they can hide inside their vessel underneath that fake skin is
Okay.
it's very numerous.
Okay.
They can actually, literally, they're like a Chemtech dealer. It's just you like pull open the stomach, pull out a bunch of Chemtech. I heard you want some Chemtech.
Gotcha.
Jackie can absolutely be dosed with Chemtech. You just need something that is extremely electroconductive. Or actually is electroconduct or electromagnetic. Immediately juices her. Because because she has a wood element, and you can absolutely dose all of her nanite clusters with a Chemtech dose. Same thing. She's also got pockets inside of her. She's got all sorts of Chemtech, ability to hide them, and then she can hand them out, or literally jab somebody with her. Like, she like punches somebody, but it also punches them with a Chemtech dose through her knuckles. And then that person goes, "Why am I bloating up?" Well, unfortunately,
Gotcha.
yeah, you're exploding now. That's why. Cody is a little bit trickier. You can't touch the physical or the energy body, but while he still has nerves, his organs, his brain, his skeleton, his marrow, you can dose those things. You can literally dose it so that it targets his organs and makes them shock resistant, impact resistant, cancer resistant. Like, you can grow him new fucking organs through Chemtech that he can then take on with him to his ascended life.
Mhm.
Like, every single member of the party is Chemtechable. It's not it. They made it very difficult. They've not made it easy at all.
It's just
They're all
consent,
special
really, at the end of the
snowflakes.
day. Like,
Don't worry. No, Cody's big thing, he's going to ask you to grow him a second brain.
It'll require an extra. It'll require help from a couple bits and pieces. But now that you have the alien foundry, especially the Predator foundry, you can build him a brain. It won't be a human brain.
But I can
Or-
build you a secondary brain.
Or if you go down to Enigma and you were to get if you go to the resuscitation department, they could give you the blueprints to build a biological human brain, which then you could either buy the stuff there and then take it to your foundry, or you can grow it a human brain using alien tech.
I could just see it now. Random hawker outside the medical or the resuscitation wing. Get a brain here, fresh brains for you.
No, they have a resuscitation department. For those who want to pay the luxury debit, and every time the price increases drastically,
Mhm.
if you just outright die, they'll rush you to the hospital and put you back together.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That's why the population problem is huge. If you're killed by a scythe, though, you're not allowed to be resuscitated. But since it's been mothballed, as long as they can recover enough of the body.
Yeah, so you know that time when we went to Earth and caused what was it, like a 12-car pileup?
Yeah,
You know-
And the train crash.
Train crash was pretty much what it was.
Yeah.
Because
A lot of those people are still alive because they got to come back. They got to be resuscitated because there was a extraneous circumstance, and they got to be revived free of charge. If there was enough of them to put back together, the Thunderhead does unfortunately need 20% of your brain matter to do it, and you are not guaranteed all of your memories.
It's just a little small oopsie that we did.
Yeah. So 3 people didn't get to be revived because they were paced due to the crash, but everyone else got to. But at the end of the day, the Thunderhead was like, eh. So, yeah. Don't ever think your Chemtech Ogre has limitations. It don't.
Okay.
You just gotta
Okay.
you just gotta tailor it. You're like, robots, cyborgs? I got you. Hell, you can even make it so that if they're completely cyborg, 100% circuits and wires, you can juice their electroconductivity in their machine so that everything runs at a high processing speed for or a higher processing speed for a short bit.
Gotcha. I'm gonna have to work on this.
Yeah, it acts as a neuroportent drip off of the internal components list. They get an extra half action, free action, bonus action, and bonus, reaction, free action, half action. Yeah, they get all.
They basically get a bonus half turn.
Yes, a bonus half turn every time they juice themselves. Now it does put some
Fucking
strain on the robot, but they go, let's go. Yeah, Chemtech, not so simple.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I am waiting for you to develop Chemtech mech parts so I can put it on my internal components list.
As soon as so my plans, so you are aware, right, is going to be once I've gotten this initial dose of the industrial Chemtech batch done, I'm going to be trying to manufacture a specialized dose for each player, something to give each player a juice, as it were. And I'm going to be trying to develop something for my mech.
Cool. All right. Do you need to jump back to Johnny Blow? Because I know he has work tomorrow, even though I don't, because this is my Friday. Because I work on the weekends. Fuck me.
Okay. So we have reached Jack of all pillars level 2.
Oh, look at you, so fancy. All right, what you picking? You making thresholds even cheaper, or are you
Gonna oomph a little bit of the.
Are you gonna minorly umph what you get in each pillar? Or you can pick one upgrade of all the pillars, and it'll be a major upgrade. But it has to. You could pick one thing of all the 4 pillar upgrades. Could be the stat upgrade to a single pillar. It could be. What are we at?
Hybrid trait or we can pick the discipline, right? So there's no point in there.
Okay. You can pick the main characteristics upgrade. You can pick the discipline. That doesn't really work.
Yeah, that's what
Or
I'm
you
saying.
can gain the physical, the hybrid.
A hybrid trait would be probably the best thing to put that into for sure.
But you would pick one pillar, and you'd pick one thing for a major upgrade, or you get a minor upgrade all 4, or you can lower the thresholds for the next threshold again.
Yeah. Let me do some math here.
No math, just no.
Is this Jack of all pillars thing a conflux?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You could pick up Jack of all pillars as well, and pick lower threshold. Because the first pillar, or the first upgrade, if you pick lower thresholds for it lowers all the thresholds by 25.
Oh gods.
So it makes you able to reach thresholds easier. And the more you upgrade it, you can pick something. You can make some improvements to each pillar, and a bigger improvement to one pillar. The downside is you cannot get a threshold upgrade until all 4 are done at the same time. So if you reach the mine pillar first on the threshold, you can keep spending, keep track of it as it goes, but you don't get that pillar threshold until all the other ones have reached the threshold, and you get to do them all at once.
I mean, if I did that, I would immediately proc the second mind and swift pillar because everything else is already procced.
For level 2?
Yeah. I've got mind and swiftness at level 1, spirit and mind at level 2.
The only issue you got to worry about is your conflict slot.
I've still got one. I've had one available, and I'm sitting on 21 merit to spend because I saved just enough for a conflux if I thought of one or needed one.
Mm-hmm. And you get Jack of all pillars.
I will wait until Jackie is done and figure it out. Yeah, because the ability I'm working on may be too powerful.
So you say.
Let's I really want to pick one of my hybrid trait upgrades, but I think I'll go for the reduced thresholds again.
Okay, reduce them by another 25.
Okay.
So 250 for the tier 3. That's what you need in a pillar.
150, Matt.
Well, total 250.
Yeah. Sorry.
Total 250. If you buy it again, it'll be total 225.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the more you buy it, it drops it by 25 each time.
Just 25? Okay. Yeah.
But that's where Nemesis come in. If you can get a Nemesis and then resolve the Nemesis, getting pillars, especially with the Jack of all trades threshold reduction, is quick and snappy.
Mm-hmm.
And tier 3 is where things get a little interesting.
Which is why I decided to go for the 25 for this one, and for the next one, get a bonus to one of the unnaturals.
Yeah, you get 4 things on tier 3.
Yep.
Ooh, we get a free unnatural. gain a powerful ability from your GM or your patron, so you don't get to pick. And you also get another fucking fate point.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
All right, Matt. So let's do Might again first. Might is going to be a hybrid trait from Ezekiel.
Okay, I see what you did there. All right. If you die from Iron Man mode, what killed you gets you an insight
Okay.
into what killed you.
Okay. Do note I only have one extra life for Iron Man mode right now. So it's okay. All right. Next one.
What kills you makes you stronger, or in Ezekiel's case, you know.
For Ezekiel, that's for sure. Swiftness is we get the movement thing increase. We're going to do a physical hybrid trait based off of Ezekiel for swiftness.
For speed. If death-defying perks kick in,
right?
They have an extra charge.
Cool, like it.
They have to be used on different opponents or different things. So if a death-defying perk kicks up,
it's like
can't be the
Void.
same thing
that
did it.
Yep.
The same person can use a different thing that kills you as long as it's a different thing that kills you. Like psionics, and then they stab you.
Yep.
As long as it's different,
you
get an extra death-defying ability.
I like it. That's actually really good, Matt. Next one is gonna be Minds, and it's gonna be Lilith for physical hybrid trait.
Pick Lilith this time. I see what you're doing. The physicals for the boy, and the mentals and the spirituals for the girl. I see what you're doing. Okay. Pretty straightforward. You can devote part of your nanos permanently to somebody. This will last for quite a bit, but it acts as an additional health pool or regen, depending. Now, it's a permanent reduction from you because you're granting the nanos, they will reconfigure themselves to somebody else.
Okay.
But if you give them a fate point while you do it, it's permanent wounds and permanent regen for them. So if you grant them 10 nano clusters, that's plus 10 wounds, plus 10 regen, and they get the fate point.
Okay. But what about if it's without the fate point?
It only lasts basically days equal to your collective characteristic bonuses.
Okay, so pretty much with the fate point, I am infusing a fate point with nano, pretty much.
And then you permanently give them the fate point and buffs.
Yes, like it.
And it's a permanent upgrade. It's the gift of the maiden.
All right.
The price is steep.
And of course, because it takes away from me to give. Because it's
right,
two
but
things.
You also are Iron Man, so the 4 fate points you got from your thresholds, you got 4 coins sitting. So you get to pick 4 people. You can also give it to someone who already has a fate point.
Correct. I could give it to one of the party members, or I could cash it in, right?
Right. You also get to determine how many nanoclusters you sacrifice.
Exactly, right? And if I have the question, Matt, I have a reservoir. If I take away 50 of my health and then take that 50 back, am I giving them 50 wounds and 50 regen, or is it
permanently subtracted from you, granted to another player with a fate point attached? Now, can they handle 50 clusters of nano? Probably not.
Probably not. Okay. All
yeah,
right.
the health for health concerns, if their total wounds is less than the amount of nano you're giving them,
it would
probably would not do well.
Right. It'd be like me taking them over. Wouldn't be good. Sounds good.
The clinically safe approach is whatever their max wounds is, half rounded down.
Okay.
If you go up to match, they may have some permanent changes to their sheet because they are as much nano as they are person. You're not sure what that would do. Lilith hasn't done that herself. She's done the Gift of the Maiden, but she's always done it within what she has set regulatory-wise. Not something to do lightly either.
For sure. And then Spirit's going to gain a physical habit trait from Lilith.
Alright. This one's a little weird.
Sounds good.
Okay. You can basically do an Iron Man to somebody. You target somebody, and your second skin comes off and flies and reattaches to them.
So, question, Matt. What happens when I already eat my second skin?
That's why you can do it. You have to have eaten your second skin in the first place. You basically give them Jackie nano armor. You give them your second skin and defense, but you lose that defense to yourself. And you can move it around once per turn as a half action. And it has to be within sight. But it's basically like you point at them, and then the parts clunk off of you and fly over and go chunk, 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 chunk. Kind of like from one of the Iron Man movies.
Yep. Alrighty.
Which means they could get mecha-sized defense and strength and protection. And which means you'd lose your base armor from the suit and all the cool stuff the power armor gives with the juicing from the mechs, and you'd be going birthday suit with bare mech stats and health. The second skin is basically you granting somebody the mecha armor levels.
Right.
And some of the mecha strength. You would just be wielding your clusters and some base mecha stats without any of the protection.
All right, perfect. Well, that's all from... You know what, Matt? I'm actually going to get one more thing from you. The Ace of Spades.
What about it?
Do you want to do stats for it?
I'll get it to you in a bit.
Okay, yeah, no rush on that. I will see you guys later. Take care.
Good night.
Thank you for the stuff, Matt, and hope I didn't hurt you too much. But
it burns.
Take care, guys.
No, it's okay. Thanks, Johnny.